What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am taking part in another physical media community challenge, this time presented by the Rad Pack. Now, if you're unfamiliar with who the Rad Pack is, I don't know where you've been because they are literally the coolest trio here on YouTube. You have Garrett, you have Mel, and also Justin. Now, all three of them have a joint YouTube channel together called the Rad Pack. So I am going to link that down below in the description box, and I highly do recommend you go over there and subscribe to their channel because they are awesome. They mainly focus in on nostalgic movies from the 80s and the 90s, but they also talk about other movies as well. They are always entertaining. They have great chemistry together. They do live streams, regular videos. So if this sounds like something that interests you, then I definitely do recommend go over and subscribe to their channel. So what is the challenge? Now let's talk about the challenge. So the challenge is the top 9 rad 9 movies from 1994. My personal favorites from 1994. This is not about the best movies, the best quality, the best this. There's no best at all whatsoever. These are my personal favorites. Now, in 1994, I was 14, so my taste was all over the place. And trust me, my taste at the time in 94 was not focused on heavy dramas, so you're not going to see Shawshank in here. I've actually only seen the movie one time all the way through, so that's not on the list. Forrest Gump is not on here. Neither is The Crow or Pulp Fiction. Those are usually the 4 movies that you always see on these lists, but not mine. Mine is completely different. These are my personal favorites. And this is a ranking video as well. So I'm starting off with number 9 all the way to the number 1 personal favorite. So starting off at number 9. Now, this is not nostalgic for me. However, I recently discovered this movie a couple of years ago, and as soon as I watched it for the first time, I just really enjoyed it. And I think it's kind of underrated. Ed Wood. This is another collaboration between Johnny Depp and Tim Burton. It's a great black and white movie. It's a biopic, so it's another reason why I love this film. You know me and biopics. I really enjoy them. This is based on the true life story of Ed Wood right here, who is known as the worst director of all time. He would not put any time into his takes at all whatsoever. If you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, everything that he would use, the monsters, the effects, were just so awful and so terrible, but he did not care. He just wanted to make movies. It didn't matter how horrible they were. And hey, he might be the worst director, but at least he's known for something. So that is an accomplishment. Even though it's the worst, at least he's known for something. He's not just faded out into oblivion. So this is a great movie, and I absolutely love it. I've seen it a couple of times. Like I said, I personally believe it's underrated. You have Johnny Depp, you have Sarah Jessica Parker, you have Martin Landau right here that won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for the movie, which was a great performance. You have Bill Murray as well, and that's Sarah Jessica Parker in the middle. Okay, so a couple of pictures of SJP. So I highly recommend Ed Wood. If you have never seen it before, give it a chance. Yes, it's a black and white movie, but black and white movies are great. So take your time with this one and watch it. Look it up. See if you can, stream it somewhere if possible, or pick up the Blu-ray. It is a great movie. All right, number 8. Spot number 8. Okay. I have seen a couple of these videos on YouTube, and I have not seen anyone else choose this next movie. This is pure nostalgia, okay? This is a pure pick from a girl in 1994 that is 14 years old, okay? This is a double pack. I have to cover up the other movie because I'm talking about The Next Karate Kid. The Next Karate Kid. I can't do that the whole time. The Next Karate Kid starring Hilary Swank. I know a lot of people are going to say, Susan, why did you choose that movie and not Forrest Gump or Shawshank? I told you the reason. This is pure nostalgia for me. I loved this movie. When I first came across this film, I was like, wow, because I love the Karate Kid. Okay, I love the first Karate Kid movie, and of course the sequels that came after. I watched those as well. But then this movie came out with a girl as the lead, and because I was 14, I think just at that time everything lined up perfectly, and I was like, wow, I love this movie. And I thought it was so great. I thought it was so great, and I fell in love with it right away. And I'd seen it so many times. I think on HBO, like whenever it was on, I was watching it. Like you couldn't tear me away from the TV because I was watching this thing. Like I was obsessed. I was kind of obsessed with it. So when I realized this came out in 1994, there was no doubt. There was no doubt that this had to make my list. So the next Karate Kid, there we go. I still have this little hope that Hilary Swank is going to show up in either part 2 or part 3 of Cobra Kai's last season. Like just a little shimmer, a little glimmer of hope. And if she does show up, oh my God, that would be it. That would be it for me. I really hope that happens. It's probably not, but I'm hoping. All right, spot number 7. I know Movie Chatter had this on her list. I just watched her YouTube video, and I'd already pulled all my movies out. So this was a very nice coincidence that both of us have this movie on our list. It is Serial Mom. I believe this is the first movie that I ever saw from John Waters. I can't remember if it was Serial Mom or Crybaby, but I think it was Serial Mom. And this movie is just so good. It's so ridiculous. It's so outlandish. It's done in such a great way. You have Kathleen Turner. Like no one else could play this role. You have Kathleen Turner as the mom of this family, and her children are played by Ricky Lake and Matthew Lillard. How awesome is that? And then her husband is the guy from Law and Order, Sam Waterston. Okay, that's her husband. They look like the perfect family, okay? And she plays the perfect mom. She's wearing the pearls. You know, she's all about recycling and making sure that the environment is okay and being nice. But behind the scenes, she has a completely different personality. She's obsessed with serial killers. And if anyone crosses her or her family, they better watch out. They better watch out because they are not showing her on the cover with a knife for no reason. Okay, she will go after you. This is a great dark horror comedy from John Waters. Like, not like super dark, but just enough. And I remember discovering this randomly, somehow, some way. I don't even remember exactly how. I can't remember if I saw it on TV or by VHS or whatever it was, but it always stuck with me. It always stuck with me as one of my favorites. Kathleen Turner's performance in this film is absolutely incredible. No one else could have played this role because she was spot on. Perfect. Absolutely. Like her performance sells the entire movie for me. She's just so good. So John Waters casting her was the most brilliant idea on the planet. So Serial Mom, there we go. If you've never seen this movie, you have to. You really, really have to. You got to pick it up. All right. Spot number 6. You know me. I love my vampires. I love the entire vampire subgenre. So I got to go with Interview with a Vampire. And I know a lot of other people have this on their list in their videos. I had to put it in here. I couldn't not put it in here because the movie is just so good. Because this film kind of like, I guess, glamorizes vampires just a little bit. Because usually with vampire movies, it's kind of like, you know, very, very dark and dirty and gritty and bloody and stuff like that. But with Interview with a Vampire, it shows like kind of the more glamorous side. You know, you live forever and they wear very opulent costumes and they live in gigantic homes. And for some reason, vampires are always rich. They always have money and they can do whatever they want. Like, it's just, it glamorizes the entire lifestyle of a vampire. And then when you get, my face is all red. It's very humid here today in Connecticut, by the way, P.S. But, and then on top of that, you have the outstanding performances in the movie. I mean, Tom Cruise, man. Tom Cruise. As we know, Tom Cruise, he's usually always the hero in the movies. You know, Mission Impossible, he is running his butt off to save the world. But in this movie, he just wants to eat you. He plays a great villain. That sounded weird, I know. But you know what? It's true. He's such a great villain in this movie. He's all about manipulating Brad Pitt's character into doing whatever he wants. And Brad Pitt hates being a vampire. He doesn't want to be one anymore. And then they come across Kirsten Dunst's character. There we go. Oh, what is her name? Oh my gosh. How am I forgetting her name? I am blanking. I've seen this movie so many times and I'm blanking. Anyway, Kirsten's character, she's like 11 years old when she played this role, and she's a little baby vampire. And so they kind of become this like dysfunctional little vampire family, you know, and Kirsten Dunst grows very attached to Brad Pitt's character. So he really kind of like exists for her once she comes into his life, into their lives. This movie's just so good. I can go on and on. I could go on all day. I mean, I've seen this film so many times. It's just so well done. It is so good. If you've not seen Interview with a Vampire, what are we doing here? Okay, like we're you know, spooky season is upon us. You need this. You absolutely need this. But this is my number 6 on my Rad 9. We got there. we got there. We got there. Sometimes, you know, the brain is working at such a high, fast speed, you know, and I mess up. That's okay. All right, top 5. We're getting into the top 5. Number 5. Now, 1994 was a huge year for Jim Carrey. He had 3 films come out in 1994, which is absolutely incredible. You had Ace Ventura. Then you had, what was next? The Mask, and then Dumb and Dumber. And I have not seen anyone else. I haven't seen everyone's videos for the top, you know, the Rad 9. But mostly people that I have seen have either pulled The Mask or Dumb and Dumber. For me, The Mask, I don't like that movie. I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of annoying. Dumb and Dumber, I've only seen like maybe twice. And it's been like at least 20 years since I've seen it. However, I gotta go with Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura, I love this comedy so much. It desperately needs a 4K, but some people think it's never gonna get one. I really hope someday it does, because I think it's deserving of a 4K upgrade. Jim Carrey is just so good in this movie. This movie put him on the map. Yes, he did other smaller films and different projects before this, but this was like a major, huge success in 1994. And because of this film, his career just skyrocketed and he never looked back. But this film, I had to choose, because 1994, you gotta choose something Jim Carrey. I mean, 3 huge movies like that in 1 year, you gotta choose something. So I'm going with Ace Ventura, because this film never fails to make me laugh. And in particular, the most recent watch that I did, I'd say about a year ago now, of this movie, I probably laughed harder than strike that, reverse it. I probably laughed harder than I have in a really, really long time watching this film. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it really hit my funny bone in a hard way. Does that make sense? I'm hoping so. This video is not turning out great. I apologize to the Rad Pack. But anyway, so Ace Ventura, absolutely so funny. I feel like Jim Carrey, He knew that this was like his groundbreaking role, so he just brought it. He brought everything to this role, and it worked. I mean, this is classic Jim Carrey right here. So, yes, Ace Ventura, absolutely all the way. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. This combo doesn't want to work sometimes, the brain and the mouth situation, and then I'm red on top of it. I'm not looking good, and I'm not sounding great either, but you know what? We're going to move on, because that's what we do. We move on, because I've already done about 10 takes of this, and I don't want to do another one. So we're in the top 4. Number 4, here we go. True Lies. This had to be on my list. I mean, I couldn't not have True Lies. I mean, this movie is so great. This and my third choice here that I will talk about in a second. These are the few action films that I was interested in at that age in 1994. Because again, I was 14. In the 80s, when I was younger than 14, I was mainly into, like John Hughes films, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, that type of thing. More like romantic stuff, or like, love and, just love and romance. Maybe like some, I don't know, bubblegum pop stuff, not serious action. As I've gotten older, I've been trying to get into movies that I have not seen, which is like, how could I have not seen like Die Hard and things like that? But it's true. Back in the day, I never watched Die Hard or anything like that. But True Lies and the other film that I have in spot number 3 are the 2 action films that I did watch in 1994. I'm not saying I didn't watch any other ones, but these are the personal favorites. So anyway, True Lies, amazing film. You have the reunion of Arnold and James Cameron. Obviously, they put out the 2 Terminator films together, and they work amazing together. And then you have the addition of Jamie Lee Curtis, and their chemistry is just so good, because you would never think of putting Arnold together with Jamie Lee Curtis. And then on top of that, you have Tom Arnold as Arnold's co-worker and also friend. And it just works. It just works. Everything about the movie just works. It's a great balance of action and comedy. The only complaint that I have about this movie is I think it runs a little bit too long. But other than that, it's a great film. It's one of the best action movies of all time. One of the best James Cameron movies of all time. So, at least in my opinion. So, True Lies absolutely had to be on my list. And I like the 4K transfer. Is it 100% the best? No, but I will take it. I will take it. Wow, I'm getting really, really red. Okay. All right, let's wrap up this video. All right, spot number 3, as I mentioned, another action movie. It is Speed. As soon as I said action film, you should have known it is Speed. I mean, I loved this movie so much. I thought Keanu Reeves was so gorgeous. And then Sandra Bullock, this pretty much put her on the map as far as her career. Yes, she had done some previous things as well, but this one really, solidified her as like an up-and-coming star in Hollywood. And she kind of brought the comedic relief as well to the movie. They had great, fantastic chemistry. I want them to do more movies together. I just think they're so good. And the movie's just so well done. It's a great concept. And Dennis Hopper played such a great villain in the movie. So you gotta have Speed. Absolutely. Speed must be on your list. At least on my list. It should be on your list too. All right. Okay. Second place, the runner-up. This was difficult between 1 and 2 because I love both of these movies equally, and it was very difficult to decide between. I kept going back and forth, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the runner-up is The Lion King. I almost said the King of Lions, but The Lion King. The Lion King, without a doubt, had to be on my list. I know it was on a lot of other people's lists as well. This is my favorite Disney movie of all time, Disney animated movie of all time. I usually say it's Lion King and Little Mermaid, but if I had to choose what was my number 1 favorite Disney animated movie, it would definitely be, I'm struggling today. I don't know what's going on. God, I can't breathe. My face is turning red. Anyway, if I had to choose a favorite, if someone had a gun to my head and said, Susan, choose your favorite between Lion King and Little Mermaid, it would be Lion King, without a doubt. I've seen this movie so many times. It is ridiculous. And can I just tell you that even though I know this movie inside out and sideways, it doesn't matter how long it's been, how many times I've seen the movie, I still cry every single time with Mufasa, without fail. That is the power of this movie. I mean, so many years later, what is it, 30? 30 years later, and I'm still crying over this gosh darn thing. I don't watch it all the time, but when I do, I still get very, very emotional. But what's so great about the movie is that they know you're getting emotional, and then they bring it up with a very peppy song or a comedic moment, and it breaks you from that like depressing little moment that you're having, and then you can move on. And that's why this movie's so good. There's so many reasons why this movie's so good. It's beloved by so many people, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I know a lot of other people love it too. So Lion King, without a doubt, number 2. But number 1, my number 1, I don't think I've seen anyone else have this on their list at all whatsoever. But for me, you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, you know I love this movie. I love it. I love it. I hated the remake of it. I couldn't stand it. But this movie, I absolutely love and adore. It's Little Women. Cover up Marie Antoinette. Little Women from 1994. To me, this is the perfect interpretation of the story of Little Women. There's many of them out there. I recently discovered the Katharine Hepburn version. It's good. I enjoy it. It's a great black and white. I haven't seen every single one, but the 3 that I have seen, to me, this is the best version of it. I love the actresses' chemistry together. It's so natural. It feels so real that they're all sisters, that everyone's related. You have Susan Sarandon, who is the best Marmee ever. I'm sorry, Laura Dern, no, absolutely not. She was in 2019 Little Women. She played the mom. Laura Dern cannot hold a candle to Susan Sarandon as Marmee in this movie. She's absolutely wonderful. That scene with Beth and the scare, and she comes in and the music swells. I start losing it. I really do. Again, this is a movie I've seen so many times, over and over again. And with Beth, it's in particular with Beth, there's other moments where I do get emotional, but in particular with Beth, and when she starts getting sick and what's happening to her, without fail, I'm bawling. I'm bawling my eyes out. In particular, the scene with Winona at the very end, with Winona, with Joe and Beth together. Forget it. Forget it. I'm crying. I'm crying like crazy. That is the power of movies to me. And that scene in particular, oh my gosh, wonderful. Winona Ryder plays Joe. So natural. No one else could have played her at the time period. She was the perfect casting for this. Another movie with Kirsten Dunst. Ironically, I'm not really sure why I chose 2 movies with Kirsten Dunst, but I did. She plays a great Amy. I mean, this cast is incredible. And it's special to me because I watch it every single Christmas season, even though it's not really focused on Christmas, but there is Christmas in the movie. They do celebrate it, I believe, a couple of times. I think it opens on Christmas Day, and then throughout the course of the movie, they do celebrate it again. So for me, I always watch it during the Christmas holiday season. I usually watch it a couple of times. I can't help it. It is just so good. So as I said, Little Women, there we go. Let's cover up Marie Antoinette again. Little Women, 1994. Is my favorite, my Rad 9 favorite from 1994 is Little Women. There we go. I don't know. This whole video is gone. Anyway, so those are my Rad 9 favorites from 1994. Comment down below and you can make your list of your 9 Rad favorites, or if you want to, if you have your own YouTube channel, you can make your own video, or Instagram. You could always tag the Rad Pack and let them know your top 9. If you want to get involved, feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video, even though it was kind of messed up, but that's nothing new here on this channel. I'm always a little messed up, but that's okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.